Welcome back to the Information Week News Desk's coverage of Interop ITX, coming to you live from the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. I'm Sarah Peters. My next guest is Samar Sharma, innovator and architect of Cisco Systems. He is a holder of 75 patents, was a Best of Interop winner back in 2015, and is back now because he is the innovator and architect of 6 finalists at this year's Best of Interop show, and 3 of those are actually winners of Best of Interop Awards in infrastructure, DevOps, and cloud. Had to check that one because there's just so many awards. So delighted to have him. Samar Sharma, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks a lot for having me here.
So now you have 2 products that won first places. One of them won in 2 categories.
Correct.
So let's start there with the Katina product, which won in both cloud and infrastructure just a little while ago over at the Best of Interop Awards. Tell me about that.
Sure, very excited to be here for Katina. Katina is our latest innovation. It provides unprecedented security, application integration, and analytics for any traffic. So it works in your data center networks, enterprise networks, or any other kind of networks where you need analytics. You want to determine the path of your traffic through various elements of the network. And for some of our more technical audience, it actually performs these operations in hardware at wire speed without adding any latency to the traffic. And it's all done natively on the router or the switch. So you don't really need to buy any other hardware equipment from any other vendors. This is all done natively on the routers and the switches. It's really wonderful.
Well, I mean, I hate to always bring up IoT,
Sure.
but I immediately have to think
Sure.
about IoT. If you have something that's working on hardware, on routers, do you foresee that that's something that could extend that far, that would help us on analytics and security?
Sure, yeah, the technology itself doesn't have anything which is proprietary or anything which holds it to just our hardware. It can be extended to other hardware as well, so you're absolutely right that the solution can be extended to those kind of situations as well. And there's nothing extra proprietary header or anything in the packets that we are using which will hold the technology to our specific hardware.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, I don't want to, we have so much to talk about,
Sure.
so let's talk about PLB. What's that all about?
Yeah, PLB is pervasive load balancing. I sometimes also like to call it petabit load balancing because we are able to achieve up to terabits per second speeds with that kind of technology. So if you have a bunch of routers and switches in a fabric topology, then each one of those leaf switches can perform as a load balancer, a layer 3, layer 4 load balancer in itself. And it's sort of like a distributed load balancer, and put it all together, it behaves as a massive load balancer. This allows you to build an elastic data center because in this case, now you know exactly how much traffic is going through each of your firewalls, each of your layer 4 to layer 7 devices, and each of your network elements. So you can shrink and expand your network on demand.
So that definitely helps both with anything that you're trying to do to improve your agility, and I can also see that it would help if you're trying to protect against a denial of service attack or something
Absolutely,
like that.
absolutely.
That's exciting. Can you put both of those products and use them in tandem?
Yeah, there is a technology like that. So in case the user has a fabric solution, then you can have Katina and PLB. So PLB is the load balancing aspect of it, and Katina is actually providing this application chaining where you can have multiple devices chained together, and the users can create a large number of segments of traffic going through a subset of these devices. So essentially it allows you to use a number of devices and create multiple segments. For example, if you have multiple tenants or multiple departments, then you can steer your traffic through these set of applications. And PLB is going to allow you to load balance to a cluster of devices of the same type. So let's say now you have a bunch of firewalls, you want to load balance to those devices, then you can use PLB to load balance to those devices. And again, these devices don't have to be connected to a single switch. They could be distributed in the fabric anywhere in the network. So it's truly a distributed fabric solution where you don't have to worry about where is your equipment, how is it moving around, and so on and so forth, yeah.
All right. Now, since you were a finalist 6 times
Correct.
in 5 categories. What other products were there?
So we also have a wonderful technology called ICAM.
Okay.
It's our analytics and security solution. So this allows you to detect any anomalies in your network traffic. It allows you to visualize how the traffic is coming in, how the traffic is leaving, and this is done for a set of flows. So you can actually determine how the traffic is flowing, not just entirely through the router or the switch, but also how it's flowing through each of those subnets, if you will, and each of those applications, if you will. You can determine the amount of traffic that's flowing through. You can determine the hardware usage within the hardware for each of those traffic types. So that's wonderful because in the past, the user didn't have all this information. And with this, you can, again, you can use that to predict how much of the hardware you're going to need, how much of the traffic is going to flow through each of those networks, and if there is any anomalous behavior in the network.
I could see that having a lot of different, a lot of different use cases.
Correct.
I always think in security, so
Yeah.
I'm thinking about being able to find anomalies in your traffic is always exciting stuff. So
Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Thank you
I'm
so much.
glad that you stopped by. That is Samar
Samar.
Sharma, innovator and architect of Cisco Systems, and 3 Best of Interop Awards. We will have a little bit more from the Information Week News Desk at Interop coming to you right here after the break, so stick around.